Anybody remember that classic, See No Evil, Hear No Evil? It's that film with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Well, it's got a sequel, and it's got James McAvoy in it. And it's going to be... Hold on, what? It's a comedy. No, it's not a comedy. It's a horror. Ah, it's a bit of a shame.
Do you have any idea what the inside of Downton Abbey actually looks like? It's a shithole.
We want them to be very scared and unsettled and have nightmares. I want them to have nightmares. If they have nightmares, I did my job.
Hey, how is she?
Oh, she's pretty freaked out.
Why is she freaked out, though? Well, that's why I'm here to give you the answers.
It's not even about the kill for me. It's always been about the hunt.
So I was watching Mark Kermode's review on Speak No Evil, and then I had to stop when it got to this point.
This is written and directed by James Watkins, who co-wrote the very nasty My Little Lie.
Like, hold on 1 second. I saw this gem of a movie in the cinema with a bunch of mates that they didn't really appreciate it like I did. Like, I came out of the film completely in awe of what just conspired.
And we are talking about some serious backdoor fuckers. And I still can't bypass the encryption.
So what's your point, Rex?
But that film left a lasting impression on me. And now another film that's going to leave a lasting impression on me is...
Speak No Evil is inspired by a really good horror film that came out of Denmark.
In this story, you have two couples who meet on holiday. You have Ben and Louise, an American couple who are experiencing some marital discord.
No, I take responsibility for my actions, but you are so angry.
Yes, for seeing another man's dick on my wife's phone.
And they meet Paddy and Kira, who...
Oh yeah, so plot-wise. Plot-wise. James McAvoy. Do you remember him bending bullets in Wanted? Who kind of stars in the first one. I mean, look, that's Danish James right there. Anyway, the new American version of Speak No Evil, James McAvoy makes it his mission to make friends with and kill a weak couple. I think I've pretty much summed up the movie.
You know, getting them in the crosshairs, luring the fish onto the hook. That's the game. That's what I live for.
However, this time, he meets his match. So you have our perceived weak couple in Scoot McNairy, who always plays like the weedy guy. It's his role. And if it isn't, please correct me. He's perfectly cast in this film.
He's a middle-aged man who's slightly in crisis, I suppose, not sure what his sense of self is, sense of masculinity, and his wife has sort of stood by him, but there's fractures in their relationship.
Belittling me, saying that I'm lucky to get laid?
Oh, Ben's lucky if he gets it once a month.
What?
Ben, that was a joke. Yeah, that's not fucking funny.
His wife, the more interesting Mackenzie Davis, who has no issue punching a man in the face, is the timid but very opinionated mother.
She is a helicopter mum, and she has a lot of anxiety, and she's in this very uncomfortable place in her life, and she can feel herself not being the cool person in the room.
They bump into each other in some kind of hotel abroad.
Is this chair free?
Sure.
Superb.
They get to know each other, and James's family seems so nice on the surface, even though the son can't talk. But anyway, they get to know each other and things are going really well. I think it's Scoot. He's somehow kind of like a bit turned on by like James's bravado.
You're terrible. Terrible.
You do not know the half of it.
When at home, back from the holiday, Scoot and Mackenzie get a letter from McAvoy asking them to come down to his villa to hang out with him and his family.
Don't go down the dark corridor. The minute they meet us, we are their dark corridor, and they can't stop going down it.
They drive down, I'd say with a bit of trepidation, because it's a bit odd to be invited like that.
Kunne du ikke få mig sjovt?
Det er måske lidt lang tid, der er også nogen, man ikke rigtig kender.
Let me just butt in for a second and briefly mention the Danish version, which came out in 2022. I mean, less than 2 years, and it's already been remade. Crazy days.
Yeah, I think it's a different take on the same story, which is better than just copying, the film.
Danish one, you can tell that both parents are quite shy, and they just look perfect for being manipulated. Whereas This American family, you can see they got a bit more wits about them. Yes, there is a bit of weakness, but when you have Mackenzie Davis there, you know you're going to be protected. Maybe that's just me because I know what kind of film she's been in before. So she ain't going to play somebody who's going to get beaten up and like embarrassed. Like it probably ain't even in her contract anymore. She's got to that point where she can protect herself.
Mackenzie Davis is just amazing in this, and I don't think you've seen her play a character like this before. So disempowered at times, but really struggling and fighting against that, and really like pushing against the cage of that the whole time.
Pretty much from here on in, we've got similarities between the Danish and the American.
For øvrigt har jeg købt nogle støvler til Agnes, og jeg tænker lidt dem her.
Yeah.
Penny. Agnes's math tutor. You want to read it?
And I'd say at the last act is where we start to go in two completely different directions.
God, there's a doctor in the house.
I'm not a doctor.
But didn't you say you were a doctor?
Did I?
Of course I'm a bloody doctor.
And I think it works well for both films.
It's good that we have a doctor in the house. I'm not a doctor.
But didn't you say you were a doctor?
Oh, I lied.
The Danish one is all about kind of like, it's just bleak. It's just the worst case scenario.
Hvad er det værste, der kan ske? Nemlig.
The ending of the Danish one is carnage. Like, absolutely no hope.
Why are you doing this? Because you let me.
Towards the end, the daughter gets taken away from the parents. And what you find out is that these kids are generally being replaced. So James McAvoy and his wife basically change kids every time they kill a family, or practically every time they kill a family, and chop off the kid's tongue as soon as they get it. Now in the Danish version, you get to see this. You get to see the kid getting kidnapped, but before being taken away, we get to see a nice little close-up of a tongue being chopped off. And it is crazy. Speak No Evil is the title of the film. Basically, the film is about kids getting their tongues chopped off. That's pretty much what the title is saying. I'm just wondering how the mum does not fight back when her daughter gets taken away. Like, this is a massive issue of mine. She's so weak. But this is why I like the Danish one, because it's the realism that scares me.
Why are you doing this?
Because you let us.
The American one is a bit more far-fetched, but we'll get to the ending in a second.
Yeah. It's maybe a bit long to spend with people we barely know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
We had an experience with brothers, so we experienced when we traveled as kids. We met people who sort of invited us to their home. And we went there. Wasn't as cozy as we planned, and we sort of took that thought a little bit further and imagined what could happen, what could be the worst thing that happened.
So the couple aren't doing the killing and kidnapping alone. No. They've got accomplices in the form of...
We've had Manny's before. He was a teacher.
The introduction of the babysitter is it's quite disconcerting.
Hey, Mooch! Here he is.
So, Mujib doesn't speak the best English, but he's a great babysitter.
Hello.
It's like, hold on, where's this guy from? Where does he turn up again? I don't think he actually pops up again.
Yeah, and the best part is if there's any monkey business, we'll get him deported.
Because I saw the Danish one after the American one, and he pops up in the Danish one.
He doesn't speak any English. Oh. And who is Mujib? He's the babysitter. The babysitter?
Hey, je moet echt gaan, hoor.
The Danish version is absolutely brutal. So much brutality.
Mike is out at night on his own, sources all the food. Incredible chef. You should taste his game pie. It's like...
I did enjoy Bjorn and Ben getting mugged over when it came to paying for the food.
So worth every penny.
Dinner is on us.
Oh, well, that's very kind
Oh,
of you,
that's
man.
so kind.
We'll get the car, okay?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
He turns up later and helps out James McAvoy to kill Mackenzie and her weasel husband. But his face is just like, is there any empathy at all?
Mate, your fucking car's on fire. Let's finish it, eh? We've got him on the hook, Mike. I told you should just top him first thing. Why do you do this? Play with your food. You're like my mum's cat.
But now I want to talk about the ending, which the American one I prefer. Before we get there, we just have to talk about the wife in the American version, because they've been together for about
17 years.
17 years. Wow.
You get less for murder.
And Mackenzie's shocked. And who can blame her? Because, what, was she like 12 when he found her?
So she was how old when they met?
Louise, don't go there.
Was she basically one of the victims?
Please don't leave before Paddy's up. He'll be so angry and it will be better for me. And for Aunt.
Wait, is it that bad?
I think she alludes to her having to be the wife for him, and this might have been maybe a few years earlier. The mum does seem like more of a victim who has been almost turned into a cult follower.
Louise, I was his first. I was Agnes's age. You've got to believe.
Fucker.
James Watkins plays really well with the dialogue and just hints at brutal stuff without actually having to show it.
It's just veterinary ketamine. It's better to sedate. Otherwise they wriggle around and make a right bloody mess. Aunt will tell you. It's just except he can't.
But this Blumhouse Productions version is definitely going down the route of telling a story from Ant's perspective as well.
What the fuck? Why can't you just let him dance?
That was not dancing.
Oh, that wasn't dancing.
Their aim is to save Ant, because the poor kid has been trying to tell Agnes that something bad has happened to him. And once he eventually gets his message across, the whole family understand. They're like, you know what? We need to get all of us out of here safely because shit is going down. And then there's kind of like a little bit of a cat and mouse situation going on. Our Weasel boy kind of, you know, he's still trying to save the day, but can't really. He's very weak when it comes down to it. But Weasel boy is getting choked out. Like, it's his demise. Let's say goodbye, because you shouldn't have survived the part where you were both screaming on top of the freaking hills.
Is this burning an eternal flame?
And then guess who saves our Weasel? His wife saves the day. Weasel boy does kind of, you know, save everyone towards the end. He does break his ankle, but, you know, sacrifices and all that jazz.
Listen, as my dad used to say, if you don't concentrate in life, you amount to nothing.
So we get to James McAvoy being defeated, and they all leave him for dead, apart from Ant, who's like, well, you tortured me, you've done this, you've done that. It's like the bit in Immaculate where Sydney Sweeney gets to squish her newborn baby.
That's my boy.
We feel that torture, we feel that pain, and we feel like he deserves this moment of redemption. It's a difficult word to use because it feels very bittersweet.
Aunt, love, if you make some noise and show us where you are, we'll go easy on you.
Don't. And I'm going to put you feet first with the fucking wood chipper.
And unfortunately in the Danish one, our kid isn't so lucky as the American one.
You know, they all leave together, and the parting shot that we have is Ant and the expression on his face, and it's haunting. With him surviving and killing the person who tortured him for a year or something, it's just that. But yeah, it's the girls who save the day, and the little boy who gets the final say, and the dad is just, you know, he's just there just to drive them. The American ending is powerful. It really is. It feels like there's hope at the end, even though, you know, there isn't.
Man hands on misery to man. Get out as early as you can.
What ending did you prefer, though? Did you like the Danish version? Did you prefer the American version? Just let me know in the comments below. Did you enjoy the film? Did you dislike it? But yeah, hopefully I can get another review out soon. But for now, take care of yourselves and each other.
Everybody talking, but nobody being honest. It's left us impatient and stressy.